said that our negotiations in this area with the Soviets are just beginning. Commerce Secretary Peterson returned yesterday from 2 weeks, mostly in Moscow, but also in Warsaw, during which time very considerable progress was made. We're narrowing our differences, which have kept us from settling our Lend-Lease debt for 25 years. And the good faith which the Soviets would demonstrate by settling the debt would set the stage for a presidential order permitting Exim Bank credits for sales to the Soviets. And it would also open the way for a presidential request of the Congress that would back the United States.
world around us is ever-changing. Throughout this past century, we have seen the advent of countless innovations that have completely reshaped life as we know it. But with all of this growth comes a number of undesirable byproducts. Byproducts that, if left unchecked, have the potential to irreversibly scar our modern world. As human expansion is projected to increase exponentially in the coming decades, we must account for these never-before-faced challenges in ways equally never before considered. Here at Async, we believe we have found the solution: the Low Proximity Magnetic Distortion System. What is the Low Proximity Magnetic Distortion System? Using 32 will be distributed across all points, allowing for cargo and personnel to seamlessly pass through their designated threshold. While our current threshold is limited in scale, future models will be able to span entire rooms, allowing for the transfer of larger vessels and equipment.
July 2nd, 1988, the Async Research Facility tested its low proximity magnetic distortion system for the third time. Details regarding the results of the experimentation have not yet been released. During a press conference held in April of 1988, Ivan Beck, Vice Director of the Async Foundation, described the intention of these tests, stating that the program, if granted sufficient backing from the United States government, will offer a solution to all current and future storage and residential needs and save billions of dollars on property construction and management.
There have been an unacceptable amount of errors in our most recent project tests. The higher-ups have finally realized how foolish it was to create a huge magnetic field so close to the city. As many of you know, we ran our fourth test. This appears to have fried half of the city's power grid, causing publicly noticeable disturbances. This cascade of failures seems to have stemmed from a surge in the main power coupling within our lab, resulting in not only a full shutdown of all test activities, but also catastrophic damage to some of our most sensitive instruments. In the wake of this setback, management has taken a proactive approach in ensuring these oversights are not repeated. We are constructing an improved testing environment in far from the city. We're also making changes to that should bring renewed levels of testing continuity and staff safety. Most of the salvageable equipment has already been moved, and the majority of the damages sustained by the remaining equipment have been repaired. All staff be advised, Test 5 is slated for September 19. Thank you for your continued support and cooperation.
This is Parker.
Carl, it's Ivan.
Ah, Ivan. Is everything on schedule for the next test?
That's what I wanted to talk to you about. I was hoping we could delay the test, just for a short time. We discovered some irregularities with the data being transmitted to the core operating system that was placed inside the gate.
Go on.
Every time we try to open the threshold, our data signal becomes multiple, nearly identical signals. We're trying to send off one transmission, but our operating system is receiving multiple transmissions.
I'm aware of the situation. However, not everyone agrees with your assessments, including me.
Carl, you don't understand. These multiple signals are not coming from us. The core operating system was not designed to receive multiple transmissions.
No, Ivan, you don't understand. You're not the only scientist here. Those signals, those are just echo signals coming from our own transmission. The only reason it's nearly identical is because of degradation. Like approaching a black hole, the laws of physics starts breaking down.
Don't patronize me, Carl. This isn't degradation. These are signals, multiple signals, and the system was not designed to receive multiple transmissions. These signals may carry their own programs, their own directives, their own designs. If the system gets absorbed into the threshold, it could interpret all of the signals as one transmission. We could lose total control of the complex. We need to stabilize our transmission. That needs to be a priority.
Our priority is having the core operating system absorbed into the threshold. We need the complex brought online. You got the funding you wanted from the Department of Energy. They have invested heavily into Project KV31. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to use that funding and increase energy output. The gateway is going to open the threshold long enough to absorb the operating system. After the complex is brought online, then we will investigate any irregularities we might detect. We have protocols for this, Ivan, so if there are any communication breakdown between the operating system and the system's operator, it'll be handled. Until then, the tests will continue as scheduled. That's final.
And they have a candidate who's very strong and is fighting with us for second place.
Oh, there's an earthquake here in Los Angeles. My goodness, a live earthquake right here.
My God.
And I don't think anything's going to fall on me. I'm watching the lights. Are we still there? I think we've lost you, Clark.
So the Oakland A's take.
Hey, well, we haven't heard.
I'm Ted Koppel. There has been a rather strong earthquake in Northern California, so strong, in fact, that it has, among other things, knocked out all the power, or much of the power, at Candlestick Park, where the third game of the World Series was being played. But in the overall scheme of things, that may be the very least of things that has happened today.
I have Leslie Brinkley standing by live right now. Leslie, go ahead.
It's looking bad over here in Oakland. The electricity is out in much of the city, and we have a bad freeway collapse. It's that ramp of the Nimitz Freeway that goes from Cypress Street on up to the Bay Bridge. About a 6 or 7 block stretch of it collapsed during the earthquake. They are pulling bodies out from underneath this lower ramp. There were just some injuries on the upper ramp, but those on the lower ramp, there are a lot of fatalities.
The epicenter of this earthquake is about 100 miles to the south in the Santa Cruz Mountains along the San Andreas Fault. We have had very difficult time getting any information out of that area tonight. Now our own Tony Rusomano is live in Santa Cruz now to give us some notion of what's happened. This is our first report from there. Tony?
Pete, this town of 40,000 is about 10 miles from the epicenter of the earthquake. You would expect the damage to be severe here, and it is. The downtown section of Santa Cruz is basically gone.
The official record will be that the earthquake caused the threshold explosion, not the other way around. What happened was a tragedy. But I won't let that go in vain. The core operating system was absorbed into the threshold. The complex is online. Our research, our success, will bring humanity to a new frontier. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. There have been some setbacks. Here to discuss in details is Dr. Ivan Beck.
I see our situation as one step forward, 2 steps back. Let's start with the good news. The threshold will be a bridge between the gateway and the complex. For the most part, we can proceed with our objectives. New departments will be set up and new teams will be deployed starting next week. And now for the bad news. We don't know what caused the threshold explosion. We don't know how or even why it happened. What we do know is that when the complex was brought online, we lost communication with the core operating system. The complex is being run by the core operating system by itself. Now we're going to have to modify our objectives. We can still explore the complex, document and analyze every area. However, we'll need to create a new safety department to keep those areas secured. That way we can convert them into a safe space. Another problem that we're having with the core operating system is we don't know its location within the complex. We'll have to set up additional departments, such as an investigative department, and send out search parties looking for the operating system. The system was installed with parameters to limit the size of the complex. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, whether it's ignoring it or just does not recognize that programming, the complex is expanding without end. That expansion is an unknown variable, which could be dangerous. We wanted a pocket-sized reality, but instead what we may be getting is a mountain-sized reality. With the core operating system acting on its own, we cannot come up with accurate projections of what to expect in this expansion of the complex.
That only makes it more imperative that we locate the core operating system and reestablish communication. Only then can we have total control of the complex. So technically it's 1 step forward, 3 steps back. But we can pursue our research. It's going to feel more like we are pioneers in uncharted territory. For right now, that is all. I'd like to thank everyone's time, and we will keep everyone up to date should any new situations develop. Explorations start next week. Thank you.
Testing the rating.
Yeah. Ready?
Yeah. We just finished putting on the suits.
Control. Looks like we've got telephone, press and lights. Yeah, it's coming from that way.
Control, this is Stainer. Do you copy? Yeah. This first area has some cross-shaped pillars with yellow wallpaper on them. Dropped ceiling, fluorescent lights, and a carpet. Looks about maybe 16 feet tall. Being scheduled to late December, so yeah, that's fine.
still? Yeah. It is incredibly cold. Hopefully by the time you're watching this, we'll actually have a decent heating system down here. That'd be nice. Die of hypothermia. Oh, hello, camera. Put your straps are in the bin right there. Make sure to get the red one, right? Because the green one reads. 10-4. You got the edge put down, but I think you look at the control of that. That's good. Before we're on camera, we'll figure it out. Just keep it on camera, we'll figure it out. There's no insulation on top, and I'm seeing a bunch on the floor above. There's ventilation as well. You see that? You see the vents? Yeah, it goes around the back to the right. Some of it's insulated, I think. I don't know. I'm not a vent guy. I don't know. Oh, it looks no rust, I think. Huh.
It's more than one floor, and I use that term loosely. We then attempted to cut power to the nearest fluorescent light fixture, a standard troffer. However, we were unable to isolate the power source, and the conduit remained live, despite the absence of any visible external power supply. The source of electrical current remains unknown at this time. Using an insulated toolkit, we carefully isolated the light fixture from its electrical conduit, extracted the troffer from the ceiling, and transported it back inside, back to standard for analysis. And a 0.5 meter sample of conduit was also taken, with all exposed wiring safely secured afterwards in the ceiling. So the ceiling tile extracted measures 1.27 meters by 1.14 meters, which is certainly not standard. So the wiring connected to the fixture is PVC insulated copper, which appears standard again. The prismatic diffuser over the bulbs is made of polymethyl methacrylate, which is again commonly used for its light diffusion properties. I mean, it's what we have in the building here, very standard. But we also inspected the ballast, which is of the electromagnetic type. There's some variation in how these are being manufactured now. This one contains a laminated steel core and copper windings designed to operate at 60 hertz. So the ballast emits a prominent 120 hertz hum. This seems to be the case for the majority, if not all, of the lights in the complex that we've assessed thus far, mostly just through simple curing. But this is due to magnetostriction and core vibration. But the noise may be exacerbated by loose lamination plates or degradation of the insulating potting material over time. So it's definitely an indication that this has been running for a little bit. I mean, despite its age, the ballast is functional. Its large proportions suggest it was built for a non-standard space, not something you find in the majority of offices or most commercial spaces, though that's not something I'm too familiar with, truthfully. Now, we did find, so material compositions all seem expected, or we don't know what to expect here. They seem, everything we've looked at so far, again, this is rudimentary early testing, but everything seems pretty congruent with what you might expect from one of the troffer lights you could pull out of the ceiling in this building right here. So nothing too strange, but it's maybe that maybe makes things even stranger. Because we look at these lights. I mean, though outdated in design, the fixture appears fully functional. The stable operation of all light fixtures in the subdivision points to a continuous, potentially autonomous power source, which still remains unidentified. We're doing what we can. The materials used are durable with minimal visible wear, suggesting they were built for long-term, possibly indefinite use. So this concludes the initial findings. Further investigation is necessary to determine the source of power sustainment.
I take it you've read the report?
I have. For the most part, it seems like everything's going smoothly. However, I emphasize for the most part. There seems to be some inaccuracies with the design of the complex.
I agree. However, it's too soon to speculate.
No, Ivan, please. Speculate. Humor me, please. What is one of your theories?
Okay. It seems as if the operating system cannot recognize its programming. So instead, it's trying to interpret them. Like it's trying to build a table, only the instructions are in Japanese. So if it can't understand it, it'll do its best to interpret it.
I hope that's not the case for all of our sakes. You are kind by calling that interpretation. I call it guessing. And every guess is a calculated risk. And I would hate to see what happens if it guessed wrong.
Like I said, it's too soon to speculate. For all we know, the operating system is running smoothly. However, it's just trying to design one complex using multiple sets of instructions.
Oh, Jesus, Ivan, no, not the multiple signals again, no. You know what? You were right the first time. It is too soon to speculate.
I don't know. I've never seen this before. It may just be part of the environment. But it makes no sense. Why would they do organic materials here? This makes no sense. This wasn't in the last report? No, this is definitely new. It's organic. Is some kind of fungus?
Subject is male, somewhere between 18 and 21 years old. I estimate that the time of death was around 5 days ago, but due to the severe tissue damage, it's hard to say for sure. The cause of death was likely malnutrition. I was able to recover most of the digestive tract. So, as things start to deviate from what we would consider to be natural, the decomposition process appears to have been stunted somehow. It's like portions of the body stopped decaying and were sustained. Other areas, however, were completely overtaken by culture. So, I took couple samples of some of the material here. At first, I thought it was an aggregated collection of Pseudomonas fluorescens, but it seems to be closer to a mutated strain of simple hay bacillus, which it should be completely benign, but well, really, I don't know what to make of this. Mr. Beck, may I ask where this subject came from?
Welcome to the Project KV31 Research and Development Team. In this short, informative video, you will be briefed on the required protocol in regard to Project KV31, as well as receive an overview of future development plans. What is Project KV31? Project KV31 pertains to the study and development of the Async Low-Proximity Magnetic Distortion System. For the sake of convenience, you may hear your peers refer to the project under any of the following titles: the machine, the door, the Backrooms, the complex, hallways. Unauthorized usage of these terms outside of the Async Research Facility is strictly prohibited. Reach the threshold without guided supervision. Never enter the complex alone. All expeditions are to be comprised of no fewer than 3 individuals.
Yeah, but that was 2 weeks ago. We're not going to be doing anything about it now. I mean, do you really think that there's actually a vacuum in this situation? I mean, there's too many variables. Probably to reset the whole circuit. It's doable. know how it is. They're going to go on from here to command and then have it immediately go. Going north. Guys, do you hear this? Hey guys, do you hear this? Hey! Guys. Guys. George. Open! Hey! There's this one. Please. Hello?
Yeah, we just wait for a week and nobody's coming. Yeah, I think we'll leave it like that. Yeah, you know, it's gotta call down from Oak Ridge or cities around there. Yeah, it's difficult to people down here. You know, if you look at my timetable.
Check 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Mark, mic check.
You're all good. This is Marv, 1, 2, 3. Marv, mic check, 1, 2, 3.
Great. This is George, mic.
Has the vertical expansion been approved yet?
They're not getting to that until after the presentation.
When does that go to?
Sorry, can you repeat?
What day will the tour be over?
From the 7th to the 10th. The next report out? Yeah, should be good. Alright, end of the day tomorrow, I think? Got the cable? Okay. Okay, go north. Be on caution.
Oh, wow. This is new.
Whoa. Is that all carpeted? Huh. Looks like carpet on all sides. 7:35. Okay.
Visibility falls off pretty quick. Might be at an angle.
And we've got a door.
Don't recognize the design.
You need to cover all the way over there. Assembling a walkway would be redundant. For all we know, it's just another dead end. Alright, I'll take a look. Go notify Cloud. Easy. Good. Oh my god. What do you see?
Everything okay?
Marvin, get the camera over here.
Across?
You're fine, just hurry.
Okay. Sure, yeah. Okay, just, 1 moment, alright?
Okay. Okay.
Quick, seriously.
Yeah, I'm going. Walking on normal ground. Not even there.
Can you watch it?
Whoa! Ah!
Oh my god! Marvin, do you copy?
Yeah, I'm alright.
Are you injured?
I think I pulled something in my shoulder. I'm a bit dizzy, but no, I'm fine.
Where are you? Can you describe your surroundings?
It's different. Like a room up there, but the architecture's the same, but the wallpaper is different. It's a bit greener. Hold on, I need to see if... Nope. I'm not reaching the tunnel I fell from. The opening comes out through the wall, but it's too high.
Okay, just stand by and stay put for a moment.
Got it.
Is the camera intact?
Seems to be fine. I'm recording, but who knows what the output will be like.
Mark, make your way back over to this side. Carefully.
Do we have another camera? I need to get this. It has to wait. This takes precedence.
Just throw down the guideline with the weight attached. I can use it to climb up.
Just tried that. There won't be enough length to reach you. George, go run back to standard and bring a tether. Hang in there, Marv.
What was that?
What was what?
I don't know.
I didn't hear anything up here.
It sounded like... I think there's somebody down here.
What?
I hear yelling. Like, a person is yelling.
Wait, what, a person?
Yeah.
That makes no sense. Are you sure you're not just hearing us?
No, it's definitely not from you. What? Are those streetlights?
Streetlights?
The left hallway, and it's right there, under the gap in the wall.
You need to stay at the hole. George will be back any minute, then we can assess the situation from there.
Shh. But what if Miller's right about the null zones?
Even if that's the case, I agree with Mark. It's not worth the risk.
Oh my god.
Marvin? Marvin, do you copy?
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Marv, what are you doing?
I'm trying to find them. I know how to get back. It's fine.
Keep us posted.
It's like a neighborhood.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Anything?
I'm entering one of the houses. I can hear where the yelling's coming from.
Okay. This is odd.
There are inverted turn signs in this room. coming out of the carpet.
They're inverted? What do you mean by that?
Mirrored. They're not oriented properly.
So this is beginning with keep us posted. So.
I think I'm losing you. Just stand by.
Marvin, 403, do you copy? Repeat, Marvin, do you copy?
This is Marv?
Okay. Good, we read you.
Oh my god.
What?
I think someone's been living down here.
Living down there? That's not possible.
Hey! Can you hear me? I think I got him.
Sorry, can you repeat that? Marvin?
That's not a person.
What is it?
That is not a fucking person!
What? Marvin, talk to me. What do you see? What's going on? Talk to us. What's happening? George, come in. George, it's immediate. Marvin, what's going on?
Okay, I'm here. Send it down.
It's gonna take a moment. Grab it like, yeah, hold it. Okay. Okay. Stand clear. We're sending it down. Sorry, can you repeat that? Marvin? That's not a person. What is it? That is not a fucking person! What? Marvin, talk to me. What do you see? What's going on? Talk to us. What's happening? Marvin? George, come in.
The verdant turns through, coming out of the purple.
Good area. Verdant? What do you mean by that? Exactly. Sorry, can you repeat that? Verdant. That's not a person. What is it? That is not a fucking person! Sorry, can you repeat that?
From what we've seen in the footage, the entity is aggressive at the very least. Possibly predatory by nature.
Do you think there are more of them inside the complex?
Probably. I would like to study one of them.
Negative. I want everyone to avoid these things at all costs. However, if someone is forced to confront one of these things, they need to kill it if possible. Then you can study it.
Understood.
Do you think these entities are connected to the complex?
On some level, yes. Our leading theory is that the entities existed within the threshold long before the complex was brought online. What we saw in the footage is possibly some kind of mutation or evolution brought upon by the complex. However, another possible theory is that the entities are byproducts from the core operating system.
How so?
The operating system is trying to design the complex based on interpretations. Some of these interpretations make the complex come off as inaccurate, or, from what we saw in the footage, warped and distorted. These entities could be an attempt from the operating system based on a design not from us. Just like that neighborhood, that was not part of the original design for the complex.
Sorry, Ivan. What we saw in the video is not enough evidence to prove that the complex is being designed from multiple signals.
Yeah.
Have enough room to unpack over there.
Okay, sounds good.
Can you loosen that strap?
Say 3 at the very least. It'll take 7 trips that way, I think.
Right.
You should have forklifts on, can you?
Watch your hand.
Yeah, we're just assembling now. And then you're going to want to stop up here and adjust a few to the right. Carry on forward and head into that gap over on the left. Is that really what he said? I don't think he has a full understanding of the situation.
Oh, I doubt he does either, but I think that matters.
Here we are. Wall. Watch the wall.
I am surprised with how well this is holding up. Signal seems in good standing.
Hey, don't get too close. Stop. Stop.
Yeah, it was locking.
Standard, this is Clyde. We've reached room 14D. We're now just about to initiate the equilibrium stimulus test.
That's still good?
The last one came back good, but I recommend you keep a mask on just to be safe.
We gotta start updating our protection system. I feel like I'm always missing things in this mess.
I am doing it back.
Oh yeah. Yeah, maybe we'll just conserve some power and then put it back in the cart when we get here.
Hey team, this is Mark. Do you copy? Copy, reach 11 clear. We have just reached 14D. There are no visible
signs of Marvin's friend.
That is absolutely not the name we're going with.
Well, then you better start working on a new one. This one isn't a better view. Remember that? And these ones are all fairly even, right? You just have to go on that one.
Just focus on going down center and around those 2 points of interest. I believe the current sheets will suffice for today.
Well, that's good to hear. Are you ready to start sending people down? I know we don't have that many hours left before we need to start revamping through the protocols. We need to double check again on 1, 2, 5, 7, 3 as well. Hey, can I get a hand over here?
Is this the same one they had you practice with?
Pretty similar, but they were just renting that one. Same one as far as I'm concerned, though. Not like I know the difference.
Wouldn't want to be on the other end of that.
You wouldn't want to be on the other end of any gun, Marvin.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Alright, get your lights on. Marv, light.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Standard, this is Mark. We're now beginning our progression into room 14C. Alright, so we're going to want to stay mostly down the middle, but maybe go around 1 or 2 just to make sure we're not missing anything.
Good damn thing, this mouse.
I don't know. Okay, yeah, floor's different. Looks like concrete, or what's it called? This stuff they layer over concrete to make it shiny. Epoxy? Yeah, epoxy. And it looks like we got standard white drywall with black vinyl trim or wall base. And ceiling looks relatively the same, just tighter, smaller tiles.
It looks like there's another space between the floor types. Huh.
Oh yeah. Guess we can put a tape measure down there again. We got displaced tiles. Yeah. See anything?
No, not really.
Well, there's a little hole in the back.
Oh yeah.
Is that a wall back there, a wall, or can't tell what that is?
Yeah, it just looks like a wall. Huh.
Watch the gun. Sorry.
Is this just the natural state, or did something move these? I'm not sure which one I'd prefer, but right now I'm kind of leaning towards the former.
Yeah. I believe we've only seen displaced tiles 4, I think it was 4 times before. Not too common.
Not a fan of this area.
Guys, I found something.
Yeah?
You gotta look at this. What, is it right over there? Yeah, it's some sort of... No, you're right, this looks handmade. You can't determine that just by looking at it. Well, I'm just assuming right now. Either way, you're right, it does look like some kind of map.
Yeah. You know, it almost looks like...
I think this is around here, 14C.
Yeah. Yeah, it's,
Team A, come in, this is Mark.
That's the area we came through, that's 14C, and there's 14D.
Team A, this is Mark, do you copy?
There's B and A.
Standard, do you copy? Repeat, this is Mark, do you copy? Yeah, no, the signal's dead, we've gone too far. We gotta go back.
What? You sure? We're not that far.
Well, that's all the more reason to get...
Well, if we do get back and they say it's just a non-issue and we just come back around, you know, and see what the...
Oh my god! He's got my gun! He's got my gun! He's got my gun!
Don't move! Never you move!
Okay, okay!
I don't want to hurt any of you. But I will. If I have to, so please, just answer my questions and I'll be gone. How many people are out here right now? Down the hall, how many people are out here?
Wait.
I don't know.
Peter?
Oh shit.
Marv? Marvin?
Yes, it's me. Is it really you?
Yeah, it's me. It's me.
How? It's been months. We thought you...
I know. That's what they did. They took my life from me, Marv. Everyone thinks I'm fucking dead. My wife and children think I'm dead.
Can you please put down the gun?
Barbara, just tell me. Did they hold a funeral?
Yes.
This is Team A. Do you read us?
Yes, A-Team, this is Mark, I read you.
Mark, don't.
What are you doing?
We need immediate arms
Mark.
support at room 14C.
Stop.
My team and I are being held at gunpoint by a hostile. I repeat,
Stop.
please
Don't
send
shoot him.
immediate arms support to room
Stop.
14C.
Don't.
Sorry. Marvin, I'm alive, but I want you to tell them that I'm alive. I need to know.
Mark, this is Team A. Do you read us?
Yes, A-Team, this is Mark, I read you. What are you doing? We need immediate arms support at room 14C. My team and I are being held at gunpoint by a hostile. I repeat, please send immediate arms support to room 14C. Your current...
Save the, for that panel, it should connect.
What was that?
I'd like to thank you all once again for your patience on this. It has been a stressful 15 hours for all of us here, and while he cannot currently be with us, Dr. Beck sends his apologies regarding the numerous inconveniences caused by our decision to keep you here overnight. Now, it appears that the situation has reached a point of some stability. We're still looking into a few things, but I feel that we can now properly address what occurred without running into speculation. What happened last night should not have happened. Not here, not with us. What occurred was a gross misunderstanding that was the result of some severe information mismanagement. Even now, I believe most of you still have an incomplete idea of what took place last night. So before I fill you in, I need to address the fact that there has been information deliberately withheld from many of you on the project. Now, these choices were not made lightly and were done for only the best of reasons. However, I want to make it abundantly clear that following the events of last night, it has been proven to us that that method of conducting ourselves was not viable. So, I'm coming to you now to correct this mistake and begin delivering the authentic order of events as we understand them. On the morning of March 1st, a team of 4 researchers was sent into the complex to conduct a routine layout analysis. George Levy, Marvin Lee, Ronald McCarthy, and Peter Tench. At around 12:25 p.m., the group realized that they had lost track of Tench while traversing a previously accessed branch of hallways. As you'll recall, this prompted an immediate withdrawal of response back to standard, followed by several days of significant search efforts. However, those ultimately yielded nothing, and as far as any of us were concerned, Tench had simply vanished, leaving no physical trace. Now, for obvious reasons, that wasn't something that we could disclose to the public, so roughly 2 weeks following his disappearance, our security team was forced to put together a more acceptable cause of death that would keep attention away from this institute and provide closure to the family. So that is all close to common knowledge, I presume. Not all of you were with us at the time of the incident, however, you're certainly aware of the effects it has had on our internal procedures over the past few months. Regardless, that was where Tench's involvement in this came to an end. Or, at least, that's what we assumed. Because on May 8th at approximately 5:30 p.m., a motion alert was sent out from the complex, which was closed off at the time. One of our senior engineers was sent down to assess the situation and discovered a male dressed in hazard gear who we were able to identify as Peter Tench. Immediately following this discovery, Tench was moved to a secure room on this floor where, over the following days, a select group of doctors were able to administer a panel of tests in order to determine what had happened to Peter in the 2 months he had been gone. Those tests yielded very little useful information. By all measures, Peter appeared to be in excellent health. However, we were still provided one very useful tool in understanding how the situation unfolded from his perspective. Some of you may recall that on the day of his disappearance, Tench was his team's designated camera operator. Well, when we recovered him, he still had that camera in his possession, and in fact had documented the entire ordeal. The footage will be presented in its entirety later today. However, for the purpose of this discussion, I will only be highlighting key events. This is the hallway where Peter was last seen. They're not in view, but you can hear the others walking behind him. Now, as he approaches the branch on the right here, pay close attention to the audio.
Guys, can you hear this?
Save the discussion for afterwards, but what you just saw is what we believe to be the moment that Peter was instantaneously transported 2 months forward in time. Following that abrupt flash you just saw, Tench proceeds back out into the hallway in search of his team, but is without any indication of their presence. The next 30 or so minutes of the tape follow a fairly panicked Tench as he attempts to navigate his way back to the threshold. He does obviously find his way back. However, the threshold appears not as he knows it, but as it appeared on the date of May 8th. And this ties us back to the moment when we recovered him. So, to summarize, from his point of view, he had only been inside the complex for several hours. So to him, all of the new developments surrounding the threshold were completely foreign. Luckily, though, as I already mentioned, there were people available to manage the situation as it unfolded. And over the course of the following days, we were able to properly sit down with Peter and work with him to gain a collective understanding of what had happened. However, there was still the very significant fact that Mr. Tench was considered legally deceased as a result of the cover story, and reversing that would be no easy feat. He understood this and was willing to cooperate while we looked for a way to reintegrate him without raising suspicion. Unfortunately, though, that process ended up taking quite a bit longer than we had anticipated, and all the while, Peter was sucked out here, waiting idly by. We did our best to keep him engaged, but it is hard to combat the effects of prolonged sensory deprivation on the human brain, and as a result, Peter's mental state took a toll. Not to a degree that was outright concerning at first, but around the end of week 2, we noticed that he was starting to exhibit a number of behaviors common in patients diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, though we don't have reason to believe that Mr. Tench was afflicted with that condition. Whatever the case, while he didn't express it outright, from what we could gather, he appeared to have deluded himself into believing that he was still inside some sort of illusion created by the complex, and that we were secretly looking to do him harm. This all came to a head on the night of the 22nd, when, while Tench was finally about to be transferred to a temporary above-ground residence, he broke away from us and, using stolen credentials, forced his way back into the complex where he would go undiscovered until just last night, when he ambushed and violently attacked Team B in room 14C, leaving Dr. Bloom in critical condition. We can presume that during the 2 or so days Tench spent in the complex, he let go of the idea that he could somehow escape through an alternate threshold, but still held on to the belief that all of us here were working to trap him in some way, despite our actions saying exactly the opposite. Immediately after firing a single shot from the Remington 870 to Dr. Bloom's side, Tench fled the scene and headed to the threshold outpost, where he would turn the weapon on several more of you while progressing into standard and through the lower offices. Given the abrupt and chaotic nature of the unfolding situation, it took our security team several moments longer than it ideally should have to figure out what was happening. But thankfully, while Tench was passing through one of the empty labs next to storage, Dr. Maxwell was able to act quickly and managed to disarm him, accidentally discharging the weapon into the ceiling in the process, though. However, Tench still managed to avoid apprehension, fleeing into the maintenance wing and evading our security staff by taking the freight elevator to the surface. Now, this situation could have played out very badly, given the potential number of witnesses around the building at the time. But, luckily for everyone involved, as far as we can tell, Tench was not noticed as he exited the property. Around 5 minutes later, our security team made it to the ground floor and began a thorough sweep in the direction of the hillside where cameras had last observed Tench. Now, there's no easy way to say this other than to just say it. I am terribly sorry to inform you all, but Mr. Tench was found deceased halfway down the hillside. The result of an extreme blow to the head. It appears that while he was running through some brush, he failed to anticipate a sudden dip in the ground and tragically fell forward into a large rock. Given the circumstances, it was not something any of us could have anticipated or prevented. The tragedy of the entire situation undoubtedly remains, but Dr. Tench, regardless of how troubled he was in his final days, was a brilliant man who gave his all to this project. He would certainly not want us hindering it in his name. What we're doing here is so much bigger than any one person. It is the work of a unified effort, and we need to ensure that that is never lost sight of. That we hold on to the pre-established notion that Peter is and has been deceased. That is done, and there is nothing more to be extracted.
George?
Oh, hey.
Hey. You had a chance to look around back here yet?
No, not yet, but I'm seeing it now.
Okay, cool. Wait here for a second. I want to show you what we found down the hall in just a moment.
Sure.
But these ones down. But I think they're bonding together enough that it should come out chunkier.
Oh, weird. This is even stranger than I thought.
But I want to make sure that I down, up,
Huh.
right up, down, this one, down, okay, let's try that.
Well, Mark didn't say anything about it flowing in a specific direction, but he did say that it was, remember, pretty horizontal in nature. It was stretching off around the corner. So the pattern seems to align pretty closely to what he illustrated.
Yeah, so wait, this is the room you guys already cleared?
Yeah, so we went around and checked it out earlier. It's a dead end. There's some dips in the floor that I would recommend you avoid. We haven't checked those yet, but all signs point to it being safe. So venture at your own peril.
Oh,
I think you'll be fine.
okay. Oh. Oh, okay, you weren't kidding. This is interesting.
This is Dr. Beck.
Ivan, it's Carl. I need you to drop everything right now and come to the security wing.
What's going on?
We recovered footage from a civilian today.
Another civilian has been found inside the complex?
No. We found footage from a civilian's video camera. Just like our John Doe, we don't know how they crossed over into the complex. But unlike our John Doe,
We don't have a body. However, if you saw the photos from the scene where we recovered the video camera, you would find it difficult to believe that they were still alive somewhere in the complex. So stop what you're doing right now and come over to the security wing. I'm giving you 24 hours to review every second of that footage.
What happens after 24 hours?
We're going to treat this like an isolated incident. Footage will be disposed of. I'll take care of it personally.
Disposed of? Like we did with our John Doe?
Like we did with Peter Trench. Don't make this complicated, Ivan. You're just as obsessed with the complex as I am. It took us years to bring the complex online. I can accept the possibility that it could take even more years to find the core operating system. But I can also accept the possibility that as time goes on, the body count will rise. You need to accept this as well. The complex is both beautiful and terrifying. It is providing so much for our research, and we don't even have total control yet. Just imagine what we can do if we find that cooperating system. Now I need you to analyze every second of that footage. Look for anything that can help us find the core.
I'm starting to think that the complex is becoming more than what we originally designed it for.
Like I said, Ivan, don't make this complicated.
What if it isn't an isolated incident? What if it becomes a common occurrence?
If civilian footage is found too often inside the complex, then I will decide when to update protocol. Until then, any civilian footage recovered will be classified for your eyes and my eyes only. We'll take anything we can that benefits Project KV31. So for right now, Ivan, just watch the damn tape.
Understood.
Hold up the card. It's beautiful. As you guys know that I've been on the road to Delta for like 8 months. Fixing this real quick. Hold up to like some food, by the way. Okay. Whoa!
Hello? Is anyone there? Hello? Hello? What is that? What am I looking at? What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Oh my god. Oh, what's that thing? Thank God it's gone. Oh my god. Shit. This place does not make any sense.
Shit.